Yeah, so we've spent the last 45 to 60 days preparing with the family for today specifically. So we've had weekly updates leading up to this point with how the marketing process has gone, what kind of feedback we've got through that, any sort of things that we've discovered about the farm or the property that maybe the family didn't know over their course of ownership because we're going through that due diligence process. So we have uncovered all of those things, and we've gone through the marketing process with the family, and now here we are today. So you've had that feedback all along the way for over the last 45 days, and now here we are. Generally we have our auctions at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We try to have midweek auctions so that whether we've got buyers that are connecting with bankers or partners or you name it, they've got access to all those people throughout the week to be able to talk to, so we're not down on crunch time. So here we are on auction day, and we've got the team setting up, starting at about 11 o'clock here. So auction day for us starts right at 11 o'clock. Generally we have a 1 o'clock auction. Our team shows up a few hours in advance. We're answering last minute phone calls leading up to the auction, but when our team gets here, we've got a lot to prepare. So we're decorating the event center with banners and auction podium and our booth and getting ready to register buyers as they come in the door. We're also getting our online registered bidders verified, checking in with our phone bidders. And the big thing with us is we're facilitating a lot of different bidders, both people that are comfortable coming in the room and buyers that maybe want to bid online or possibly even on the phone. So we've got our entire team here. So you'll notice at our auctions, you'll see a lot of white shirts. We've got people on the phone, people at the computers working with online bidders, and then importantly, we've got our auctioneer and our agents showing up and working with those buyers and sellers. As the decorating's done and preparing for that auction event, we start to have bidders show up throughout the process. We'll have people pop in early asking questions, but generally speaking, most of our bidders are going to show up between 12 and 1 o'clock. The family or the sellers generally show up about a half hour ahead of the auction, and then it never fails, the bulk of our buyers show up in the last 15 minutes prior to auction start time at 1 o'clock. Right at 1 o'clock, we start with the terms and go through all the conditions of the sale, answering any questions that our buyers may have and making sure there's nothing left undisclosed prior to the start of the auction. So we make sure that for our sellers, we've got them covered on all their bases. The auction generally starts shortly after 1 o'clock, so call it 1:05. And then that auction process, depending on what it is, can last anywhere from 10 to 45 minutes. And our team makes sure that we get every dollar out of the room for our sellers. And then we go ahead and we close the bidding or pronounce the farm sold, and then the work really begins. So following the auction, whether it's 1:30 or 1:45, we're filling out purchase agreements with the buyers, collecting earnest money, and then following up with the sellers and getting those important documents signed off and onto the attorneys for their review. For all of our auctions, we collect 10% earnest money at the close of our sale and the signing of purchase agreements. So that means that our buyers are required to put 10% down of their purchase price, non-refundable earnest money, to go in trust on the seller's behalf. The reason we do that is a couple of reasons. Number one, that guarantees the sellers that the buyers are serious. They've got the financing procured to justify and the means to put down 10% at the signing of those purchase agreements. And if something comes along that prevents us from closing, those sellers are also protected with 10% in trust for them to be able to manage to get through that situation and eventually close the sale. All of our auctions are set with closing dates from anywhere from 30 to 45 days. The sellers are able to set those terms to fit their needs and their property. So depending on the situation, we're going to have a few different standard answers to that, but standard practice is once we sign the auction contract, we will have the auction within 45 days, we will close that sale within 45 days after that. So start to finish, from deciding you're going to sell the farm, that check will be deposited in 60 to 90 days.